If you struggle with being consistent, if you've been in the same position in your career for 3, 4, 5 or more years, if you just can't seem to deliver over and over and over again, this video is for you. I have had a lot of clients in the last 2 weeks really bring up consistency related issues in my school community. And so I wanted to make a video about it for all of us to share. So before we dive in, for those of you that don't know much about me, I never went to college. I hit 6 figures by 23. I then took a 2-year break from working altogether, came back to a 65% pay cut. And since then, I've quadrupled my salary and achieved 9 promotions in 13 years. As a career coach, I've helped over 400 clients since 2023, hit 97% of their goals, and boost salaries by over $3 million. My name is Zach. My system works. And today, I'm going to give you the foundations of my execution system. All right. So diving in, most people struggle with consistency because of 2 different reasons. One is they're spread too thin. They're feeling like they have to do 10, 15, 20 or more things every single day. And 2, it's because what they think they can accomplish within a given time period is vastly incorrect. I believe there's a lot of studies that show that people tend to, they tend to overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year, right? Like something about short-term time frames, we tend to think that we can get it done. And it's because, at least what I have seen, is because we were able to do it once. So because one time you were able to run to the grocery store and back in 20 minutes, oh, every time I grocery shop, it's a 20-minute trip. Duh, right? No, that's not how things work. Okay. Or again, you're like, oh my God, I got to do this, and this today. And so then you end up just making a microcosm of progress in all of them. And you're like, well, what did I actually do? Like nothing notable occurred. Okay. So these are the 2 core problems paired with some other adjacent ones that I want to resolve for you in this video. I'm going to try to make it quick. I'm going to try to make it tactical. I'm going to try to make it functional as much as I can because I want you to execute. So first thing is going to be the prioritization issue. So I am a huge fan of leveraging what's called the Eisenhower Matrix. So this essentially has 2 things that you need to understand before you can leverage this. The first is understanding what is important, and the second is understanding what is urgent. Okay, so important. These are things that are going to move forward towards the current goal that you have in front of you. Okay, so again, maybe you are working towards this promotion, like I kicked off this video with saying. You want to be, a senior or a manager or director or whatever the next promotion is by the end of this year because you've been in the current position for too long. Okay, so that is your important criteria. Urgent criteria is going to be what is time sensitive. So maybe there's actually something that has a deadline, in the next 2 days. It's not this grandiose important thing. But if it doesn't get done, then you're going to be hurt in some capacity, right? And so think about maybe filing your taxes. Probably not going to work towards you being a director, but it's urgent in your life. Maybe you have a doctor's appointment, something along these lines, right? So things that have a gated timeline for you to accomplish, but may or may not be important. That's what urgent is. Okay. So here's how the Eisenhower Matrix works. The first thing you need to ask yourself is what on my list of all of the grandiose things I have to do is both urgent and important. That stuff gets done first. No questions asked. Okay. That box needs to be cleared, ideally, before you move on to anything else. You need to get done urgent and important, or at least make progress, because maybe it's an ongoing effort that's going to take days or weeks or months. Second priority is important, but not urgent. So things that will work towards the goal that you are trying to achieve, but may not necessarily be time sensitive. So again, maybe this is working towards your promotion. You've identified a skill gap. You need to build an execution system. So something that you're going to implement to work towards that might be important, but not exactly time gated, right? Nobody's imposing building this execution system on you. Okay, so that's going to be important, but not urgent. Okay, then you have urgent things. So again, these things are time sensitive, but may not necessarily be working towards your goal. Okay, and then lastly, you have everything else, which literally does not matter. If it is not time sensitive and it's not working towards your goals, doesn't matter. Okay, so this alone should chop down the list of things you feel like you have to do every single day. Okay, then what I need you to do is here's how you're going to start every single day. Win. You will win every single day. And I mean that both literally and figuratively, because win is an acronym. What's important now? Right? Effectively, what is urgent and important right now? Okay, so every single day, you're going to make a finite daily slate. What are the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 things that need progress or completion by the end of the day? That's it. Ideally, it's between 1 and 3, but I will give you up to 5 because we all know sometimes life just sucks. It just is compounding. Okay. But this is how your flow of things should work. Today, what is my 1 to 5 things? Ideally 1 to 3. What is important now? That is what you are working on. Okay. Now, this is immediately going to solve that being spread too thin every single day. Because again, if you just do some basic math, right? If you try to do 10 things in a day and, at your job and you have an 8-hour workday, that's less than an hour per thing. We cut that to 5. We now just got double the amount of time. You cut that to 3, right? We got 3 times the time. You cut that to 1, we now have 10 times the time. That's what I'm saying here. That is the difference. Is it's a exponential curve of the more things you chop down per day, the more time you have per day to invest in those things and make real progress. Okay? So that is how we make sure we have the scope issue. Now, the second, I mentioned that people get overwhelmed. They think that they have to make these giant steps, that progress is not that big of a deal. But that is where I'm going to disagree with you. There have been a lot of psychological studies that show that actually the biggest motivator for humans is progress, seeing fruits of your labor. Now, ideally, you have progress paired with praise. This is a leadership thing for those of you that are in the manager, supervisor, director, VP, etc. level, is giving people the ability to make progress and praising them for it. Done. That is the biggest motivational concept and combination that you can do as a leader, bar none. Okay. But here's how any one of you can employ this. So now we know our priority system. We know what's important and urgent. We know what's important. We know what's urgent, and we know what's nothing. Okay. Is now when you pick your 1 to 5 things at the start of every day, break into the micro steps that you will accomplish that day. And when I say micro steps, I mean micro steps. We're talking 5-10 minutes tops that it takes you to accomplish. So maybe you have to put together a project plan for a new deployment. Okay, so let's break this down into micro tasks. You're going to build the board. That's 1, right? 2, make a list of who's involved. 3, let them know you're building the board. 4, build the milestones. 5, right? Like each of these are such micro steps within this aspect. But this is going to show you checkbox, 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 checkbox. And if you think about it, all of these things are both urgent and important. Because in order for you to build the board to start the project, the starting of the project is what makes it urgent because you have a timeline to begin. And it's important because the project is key for moving things forward. Otherwise, it wouldn't be priority. Okay, so you may not think about these things, these micro actions being this urgent and important, but they are. So that's what you will then break down. So what are the 1 to 5 things you're going to do? Break them into their micro chunks that you will accomplish that day. And maybe that leads to completion, and maybe it just leads to progress. Depends on how big of a thing it is and how many things that you chose. But this also gets you over the hurdle of going, oh my gosh, I gotta build this entire project board and I haven't even gotten started yet. I haven't even made an outline. That's what we're talking about here. You're not staring at a mountain. You're staring at create board, title it, done. Create an outline, communicate to people, right? You're breaking this down into you're breaking this down into the micro steps, which are so much more accomplishable. Okay. Now, here's the wrapper that I want to give you for all of this, which is going to be the Pomodoro cycle. Okay. This is going to be your ticket to not being drained at the end of every day to not feeling like you are overwhelmed, to not feeling like you don't have time, because mathematically, you already know the amount of working time you have with the Pomodoro cycle. So by default, what a Pomodoro cycle is it is a time of working and a time of not working. And the not working is also low stimulus. So this means it cannot be on your phone. It cannot be playing video games. It cannot be scrolling social media. It cannot be anything along those lines. The break must be low stimulus. Ideally, not even reading a book, because while that's low stimulus, that's still brain taxing. So we're talking meditation, breathing, walking, maybe feeding your dogs, right? Things that are just that you, yeah, like that you have to do that are very much a reset. Okay. And the default here is 25 minutes working, 5 minutes working. Now you can obviously change this to based off of the work that you are doing, right? So for me, I come from a technology background where honestly, 25 minutes of focused work sucks for my job. And it's because it's not long enough. Like I always get interrupted in a task. So the key here is the ratio. You want a 4-to-1 to 5-to-1 ratio of working to not working time. So again, let's say you want to double it. So you go 50 and 10, and there's an hour, round it out, right? So you work for 50 minutes straight, 10 minutes off, so on and so forth, right? Like you can kind of tinker within there. But this is going to allow you to work, recharge, work, recharge, work, recharge. And I promise you, you will be shocked at the amount of stuff you got done and the amount of energy you have at the end of the day. Okay. So this is the wrapper. And especially if you are breaking your things and your goals into micro steps, fitting those micro steps into a 25-minute time period, a 30-minute time period, a 50-minute time period, a 70-minute time period should be money in the bank. Okay. Here's what's crazy is I bet you if you do even just 2 to 3 Pomodoro cycles a day, you will be more productive than most of the people around you in a full day. Because you have your priorities, you have your micro wins for the day that are leading up to your bigger wins for the day, and you're giving yourself focus time. Like you could probably pull off half work days and get more done than most people. I promise you. Okay. This is the basis and the foundation of my execution system that works for almost every single person I've ever worked with. It's figuring out the flavor of what micro steps look like, what is urgent and important, and Pomodoro timing, right? Again, I mentioned a lot of different variations. So for me, I've actually found it's funny. For me, it's actually slightly closer to a 3-to-1 ratio, but it's 53 minutes on, 17 minutes off. That is like my perfect ratio to where I have been consistently sustainable for an insane amount of work hours per week for months now, well over a year. It took me a while to dial in that time period. But I promise you that this will solve your consistency issue. This will solve your burnout issue. This will solve your inability to make progress issue. And this will get you promoted. People will notice, like, how the are you getting so much done in relation to your peers? Okay. And where I first started to really get insight into this was one of my previous IT roles. Myself and another person were hired as the last 2 people on our team of 8. We were the least experienced people. We were paired together and we were our least technical people. So we were actually expected to be the worst performers amongst our team. Well, within about 3 to 4 months, we were the highest performing. So much so that management came to us and were like, how are you guys pulling this off? Like, you guys are our least qualified, least experienced that we expected to have to coach and mentor and escalate the most. But yet you guys are actually getting the most done every single shift unequivocally. What are you doing? Because we want to build that into our SOPs. And so we broke it down, how we were dividing work, how we decided who did what our micro steps were, what our prioritization system was. And we built it into SOPs. And then immediately the other 3 teams of 2 people in the department just skyrocketed in productivity. And we were all just killing the game. Like, this is what made me realize that just people don't think about how to break things into manageable steps. All right. Like, this is the absolute key. And if you want some assistance with this, a link in the description, I have a free promoted AI tool that you can go to it with your decisions that you're torn between, with what you are burnt out with, what you're unsure to prioritize, where you're just lacking clarity. You don't have a goal. You don't have a vision. You don't know what is important right now. You don't know what is urgent right now. You just feel like you're busy, but not actually accomplishing whatever it is. It will be your one-stop shop, 24/7 clarity coach, getting you from whatever is your roadblock to overcoming it within minutes. I promise you. Leave a comment below in both directions, whether that is the truth or it's not the truth. Because if it's not the truth, then I got work to do to make that the case. But I promise you, you're going to get actions to overcome it every single time you interact with it. Okay. Now that tool is one of many I have built and are available in the Promoted Career Acceleration community, which you can start your 7-day free trial for today, which is also linked below, where I have my complete productivity systems, AI tools, AI prompts, career advancement strategies, comp increasing playbooks, you name it. I have everything there, plus a growing community and twice weekly live coaching sessions. All right. Now, if we want to round out putting together everything that I said here for how to execute, 1, Eisenhower Matrix. Figure out what is important, what is urgent, and you're going to immediately prioritize what is both urgent and important, then what is important, then what is urgent, and toss together everything else that is neither of those. And ask yourself every single day when you start your day, how am I going to win? How will you win today? What's important now? Okay, then you're going to set aside somewhere between 1 and 5 things that you will do every single day, that they are the ultimate goal, and break down each of those into their micro steps, their 5 to 10 minute actions or chunks that are going to lead to that walking away goal and that progress or the completion. Okay. And then what you're going to do is wrap it all in the bow of Pomodoro cycles of focused works and break, focused work and break. And you will knock out every single day and be so much more productive than everyone around you. All right. If you made it this far, I want you to hit the thumbs up. I want you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. If you have any questions, you want me to dive deeper anywhere, I respond to every single comment on every single video every single time, because that is what I am here to do, is to give you value. All right. Check out Promoted AI for free, linked below. Start your 7-day free trial for the Promoted Career Acceleration community. And now what I want you to do is execute so that you can get seen, get paid, and get promoted.